explains. This may seem like an obvious problem, but it's a mistake that rookie comedians make all the time. By the time Rock reaches a big show, say an HBO special or an appearance on David Letterman, his jokes, opening, transitions, and closing have all been tested and retested rigorously. Developing an hour-long act takes even top comedians from 6 months to a year. If comedians are serious about success, they get on stage every night they can, especially when developing new material. They typically do so at least 5 nights per week, sometimes up to 7, and sweat over every element and word. And the cycle repeats day in, day out. Most people are surprised that someone who has reached Chris Rock's level of success still puts himself out there in this way, willing to fail night after night. But Rock deeply understands that ingenious ideas almost never spring into people's minds fully formed. They emerge through a rigorous experimental discovery process. As Matt Ruby says of Rock's performances, "I'm not sure there's any better comedy class than watching someone that good work on material at that stage. More than anything, you see how much hard work it is. He's grinding out this material." The seed of this book was planted while I was attending Stanford Business School. One of the most common things I would hear people say was that they would do something new, take an unconventional career path, or start a company, but that they needed a great idea first. I had worked before then as a venture capital investor, and in that work, I had learned that most successful entrepreneurs don't begin with brilliant ideas. They discover them. Ironically, this would include the biggest business idea to come out of Stanford in decades. Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin didn't set out to create one of the fastest-growing startup companies in history. They didn't even start out seeking to revolutionize the way we search for information on the web. Their first goal as collaborators on the Stanford Digital Library Project was to solve a much smaller problem: how to prioritize library searches online. In working through possibilities for doing so, their clever innovation was to realize that the best way to prioritize the results was to measure how many other citations referred to a source. In the academic world, work is often judged by the number of other papers or books that cite it. So, if you wanted to search for books about Joan of Arc, the Joan of Arc book that was cited the most by other Joan of Arc sources would appear first. This insight was the core of their now famous PageRank algorithm. Yet, even after they realized how powerful their search algorithm was and formulated their much more ambitious goal to organize all the world's information, they still had not identified the company's breakthrough revenue engine. Until 2002, most web advertising sales, including Google's, came from banner ads that would appear at the top of search result pages. Prices were negotiated on a fixed-fee basis, such that Google would price ad deals at, for instance, $1 million, and flash the display ad when it deemed appropriate. Borrowing an idea from a company called GoTo.com, renamed Overture, Google then created AdWords, an automated auction-based system that allowed advertisers to display ads next to specific search terms such as hockey or flowers. This allowed advertisers to target their ads, while the auctions automatically set the exact price that the market would bear across millions of search terms. Within 3 weeks after Google made this change, the system had produced twice as much revenue as fixed-price ads produced within that same period, to the great surprise of many, including CEO Eric Schmidt. Once AdWords became the company's flagship product, Google's revenue growth exploded. Page and Brin did not begin with an ingenious idea, but they certainly discovered one. The pioneering bookseller Amazon also embraces an experimental discovery mentality. Led by founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, Amazon's culture breathes experimentation. Employees there are encouraged to constantly try things and develop new ideas. It's such an important goal of the company to provoke this that whether or not employees are doing so is a part of their performance reviews. Bezos often compares Amazon's strategy of developing ideas in new markets to planting seeds or going down blind